Hello everyone, here we have a question on the board. 3 raised to the power 2x minus 4 in the bracket 3 raised to the power x plus 1 close the bracket plus 27 is equal to 0. We are going to apply the first law of indices, which is called the multiplication law, to break down this 3 raised to the power x plus 1. So I can rewrite this by saying 3 raised to the power 2x minus 4 open to the bracket 3 raised to the power x times 3 raised to the power 1 plus 27 is equals to 0. Why? Because 3 raised to the power x times 3 raised to the power 1 is still the same thing as 3 raised to the power x plus 1. With this, I'm going to use my 4 to open this bracket and simplify. So I will have 3 raised to the power 2x minus 4 times 3 raised to the power x times 3 raised to the power 1, which is also 3. Then plus 27 is equals to 0. And here we have that 4 times 3 will give me 12. So I will say 3 raised to the power 2x minus 12 times 3 raised to the power x, which I will put it in brackets, plus 27 is equals to 0. So I will also apply one of the laws of indices here, which is called the product of power law. In this case, I'm going to remove this 2 here and bring it outside. It's still the same thing, and here I will have my 3 raised to the power x plus 27 is equals to 0, so that I can have a common number here, which is what 3 raised to the power x. I'm having 3 raised to the power x here. I'm also having 3 raised to the power x here. So the next thing I'm going to do is to represent that 3 raised to the power x with a letter. I'm going to use a letter to represent 3 raised to the power x. So instead of me having 3 raised to the power x, I will say let 3 raised to the power x be p. Let me use the letter p in representing my 3 raised to the power x. So wherever I'm having 3 raised to the power x, I'm going to write p instead. So this is 3 raised to the power x. I will write p. So this is p what square minus 12. This is 3 raised to the power x. I also write what p plus 27 is equals to 0. This has led us to what we call quadratic equation. So with this now, I am going to factorize out this number. This is this equation. This is a quadratic equation. I'm going to factorize it by saying two numbers, when I add them together, they will give me minus 12. And when I multiply those same two numbers together, I will have plus 27. Now, if we are to mesmerize with our numbers, you realize that minus 9 and minus 3 will give us our desired numbers. How do we know it's minus 9 and minus 3? When we join minus 9 minus 3 together, it is going to give us what? Minus 12. And when we multiply minus 9 and minus 3 together, it's going to give us what? Plus 27. So we have gotten our two numbers. Instead of minus 12, I am now going to replace minus 12 with what? Minus 9 and minus 3. So this is what it will give me. P square minus 9p minus 3p plus 27 is equals to 0. With this now, I can now continue to factorize, because we are having some common factors here. It's now for me to figure out the common factors and factor them out and continue with the equation. So how do I go about it? I realize that in this fraction here, p is common. I will say, okay, let me rewrite it here. Let me rewrite it by saying p squared minus 9p minus 3p plus 27 is equals to 0. If I have p squared and I have 9p, I realize that p is common among the two. When p squared divides p, I will be left with p. I bring down my minus sign. When 9p divides p, p will cancel out this p. I will be left with 9. Then I close the bracket. This is another negative sign. I put it out. When I'm having 3p and I'm having 27, there is only one thing that is common, which is what? 3. When I use 3p to divide 3, I'll be left with p. And when my minus multiplies the plus, I'll be left with minus. And when 27 divides 3, I'll be left with 9. Then it is giving me equal to 0. there is something that is common, p minus 9, p minus 9, both of them are appearing twice, but I'm only going to pick one of it by saying p minus 9. Since they are appearing twice, I will only pick one of it. And then the second one that I have to also pick is this p and this minus 3. So I'll have p minus 3, then I will equate both of them to be what? 0. When I am having my p minus 9 to give me 0, it definitely means that my p is equals to 9. And when I'm having my p minus 3 to be 0, it definitely means that my p is equals to what? 3. But remember we said what? Let 3x be p. Remember we said let 3x, that's 3 raised power x, be p. Remember we said this, let 3 raised power x be p. So I will go back to my equation and say but 3 raised power x is equals to what? P. So I will pick the first value of p, which is what? 9. I will now say 3 raised power x is equals to what? 9. And I will now rewrite my 9 in what? Indices form, to have the same base as this 3, so that my 3 raised power x will give me what? 3 raised power 2, and my x will give me 2. This is the first value of my x. Remember, p also has another value, which is 3. I will say 3 raised power x is equals to what? 3. Therefore, my 3 raised power x is 3 raised power what? 1, because 3 raised power 1 is also the same thing as 3. And finally, my x is equals to 1. I will now come here and say, therefore, the values of my x are 1 and 2. This is my final answer. So if you put 1 here and you put 1 here, you are going to get 0. And if you put 2 here, and you put 2 here, you will definitely get 0. As I said before, if you put 1 here and you put 1 here and you sum everything, you apply all the formulas, you will definitely get 0. Thank you very much.